Hey, so this is a review of the Sensodyne Sensitivity Gum and Enamel toothpaste. This is actually their newest release or newest product that they've just released. You can see how they have like the new symbol on there. If you kind of compare it to the other Sensodyne ones, right, it doesn't have that. So this is their newest toothpaste. We'll kind of just go through all of the pros and the cons, and then we'll kind of talk about whether or not it works and if I kind of recommend the toothpaste. Okay, so the very first pro is that it does use stannous fluoride actually, which is the premium version of fluoride. So if you look here, it's stannous fluoride. It has a lot of different effects. It is anti-cavity, anti-gingivitis, and anti-hypersensitivity. If you compare it to the more standard version of fluoride, which is the sodium fluoride, it will only list anti-cavity on there and not the other two. All right, so a big pro of this toothpaste is that it could prevent cavities, it could reverse small cavities that are forming in the enamel, and then it can also decrease teeth sensitivity, and it can also help with gum bleeding as well. And that's kind of the benefit that they kind of feature on the labels is a daily triple action for sensitivity, gum protection, and enamel strength. So all three of those actually stem from the fact of using stannous fluoride. Another pro that I kind of like with this toothpaste is that Sensodyne in general has very minimal ingredients. Okay, if you count them, there is one active ingredient, and then there's about like 12 inactive ones. Like you could literally fit them all on two lines right there. Some toothpastes have like a million ingredients in there, but there aren't that many here, which I kind of like. The next pro that I like with this toothpaste actually has to do with the cap design. It does have like a nice broad flat base. What that allows you to do is it lets the toothpaste kind of stand on its own weight. So it kind of acts as like a toothpaste stand. I kind of like the vertical storage of toothpastes. It is more organized looking and it takes up less space, especially if you compare it to the horizontally laying flat type of toothpastes, right? This definitely looks a lot better. It looks more like a cosmetic product when it can kind of stand on its own like this. Alright, so now we'll kind of move on to the cons. The first con is that you may have noticed, but the Sensodyne toothpastes, they do cost more than like the bare basic minimum toothpastes. Like you could get like the Colgate Max Fresh toothpaste for like half the price and twice the size. Alright, so and then that kind of brings me to the next con is the small size. You see how it's only 3.4 ounces. This technically makes this TSA eligible, so you could bring it on you on your flight. So I guess that could be a pro, but but these toothpastes are really small. I don't know if this is like the new standard size toothpastes. They're all supposed to be TSA travel size compliant, but that seems to be the trend the toothpaste industry is sort of heading towards. All right. The next con with this toothpaste actually has to do with the cap. This is a twist cap. I mean, it's okay, but my preference is with a flip cap actually. The toothpastes where you could kind of flip open is a lot easier to open and close. The twisting ones, sometimes I find that if it's not centered, you could be fiddling around with it a little while. Although this one's not too bad, the threads aren't very deep, as you can kind of hear. It just takes one click to kind of close it. Some of the twisting ones, you have to twist for like 3-4 seconds for you to fully close it, and then another 3-4 seconds for you to fully open it. So I definitely prefer the flip cap design over the screw cap. The next thing with this toothpaste is that it does contain SLS. What that could potentially do is it could potentially worsen canker sores actually. There's some research which shows that the SLS, since it's such a potent detergent, it can strip away a lot of natural oils in the mouth, and that can kind of delay the healing process for canker sores, right? Because usually for the sores you want it to be nice and moisturized, but if you keep removing the oil and moisture from it, it's gonna heal a little bit slowly. But the research is a little bit mixed there, but I would still kind of avoid SLS toothpastes if you are very prone to canker sores. All right. And the very last con with this toothpaste actually has to do with the stannous fluoride. So if you look on the other informations there, you may not notice, but products containing stannous fluoride may produce surface staining of the teeth, right? So yes, stannous fluoride could potentially stain your teeth. Um, but in my opinion, though, I don't really see that too often. Like I don't really see people coming in with like super stained teeth from using Sensodyne toothpastes. For some historical context, you know, way back when fluoride toothpastes were first kind of introduced onto the market, the very first type of fluoride was actually stannous fluoride, and then they were using it for like the next decade or two. But over time, people sort of noticed that this type of fluoride was producing like a golden brown stain on teeth, right? And then people didn't like that, so it actually got removed from the market. So there was actually no stannous fluoride in the toothpastes all the way until the like the early 2000s. Right? It literally got replaced by the sodium fluoride. And it wasn't until the early 2000s where they kind of made a breakthrough in the formulation to reduce the amount of surface staining, that they kind of reintroduced it onto the market. So you may see a lot of the stannous fluoride coming out, and you may think that it's like a new ingredient, but it is not a new ingredient. It was actually the very first fluoride to be introduced onto the market. But it came onto market in the 1950s, and then it got removed, and then it came back on in the early 2000s. Okay, so for whatever reason, this type of fluoride, it does cost more, and you'll see it in the more premium versions of all of the toothpastes, such as the Colgate Total and the Crest Pro Health. Like all of these cost more because it has the stannous fluoride in there. But yeah, otherwise, I don't really notice the surface staining on there. I mean, if it does, it can be removed by your dentist, because it does say adequate toothbrushing may prevent these stains, which are not harmful or permanent, and may be removed by your dentist. Okay, so that warning is still there, but I don't really think it's a problem with the toothpaste. Right, so we'll kind of move on to, I mean, like, does this toothpaste work? Yes, it does. It could do all three of these actions: the sensitivity, the gum protection, and the enamel strengthening. All right, so all three of these effects are due to the stannous fluoride in there, as you can see in the purposes. So for the sensitivity portion, how the stannous fluoride works is it can actually clog up like the exposed open dentinal tubules in the teeth, and that's how it reduces sensitivity. Usually people with sensitivity have like receded gums or eroded enamel, okay, and these things actually lead to exposed pores in the teeth, and then when you drink cold water, everything just kind of goes straight through, and it goes into the nerve, and that's where you get the sensitivity. So the stannous fluoride will block up all of these holes, and that's how it reduces sensitivity. The gum protection statement is actually from the stannous fluoride as well. That's because stannous fluoride is antibacterial. Okay, it's kind of toxic to bacteria, or rather, when bacteria take up fluoride from the mouth, right, it will actually kind of prevent them from taking in sugars. All right, so essentially the bacteria will starve to death if they take in too much fluoride into the bacterial cell. All right, so and that's how it kind of removes a bacteria from your mouth, and it eliminates them. So that's why they have the gum protection on there. And then for the enamel strengthening, the fluoride does strengthen enamel. What it does is the teeth are mostly made of the mineral. Like 97% of the enamel is made of a mineral called hydroxyapatite. All right, so what the fluoride ion does, it replaces the hydroxyl ion on the hydroxyapatite, and it transforms the structure into fluoroapatite, and that is a stronger and bigger molecule that is more resistant to acid dissolution. Okay, so that kind of makes the tooth a lot stronger and a lot less likely to kind of melt in the presence of acid. So for numerical comparisons, regular hydroxyapatite will dissolve when the pH in the mouth goes below 5.5 pH, but the new fluoroapatite, the dissolution actually gets reduced to 4.5 pH. Okay, so it makes the enamel about 10 times stronger and more resistant to acid dissolution. Okay, and fluoride is the only mineral that could kind of strengthen teeth and bones in that way. All right, so yes, this toothpaste does work, and it does do all three of the sensitivity, gum protection, and enamel strengthening. Okay. The very last thing is, do I recommend this toothpaste? I mean, yeah, sure. It has very good benefits, right? It can do all three of those, which makes it a great daily protection toothpaste. I mean, my only kind of gripe with this toothpaste is that I can't really figure out what's the difference between this one and the other Sensodyne toothpastes, right? With the rapid relief, and you have the complete protection. If you actually compare the ingredients on the back, okay? This one is the sensitivity gum and enamel. If you compare the ingredients, the active ingredients are all the same. Okay, they're all the same active ingredients. But some of the toothpastes, they'll have like different inactive ingredients. But if you compare all of the inactive ingredients from here to here and to here, they are actually identical. The only difference is with the sensitivity gum and enamel that we're reviewing. It has an additional silica at the end right there. You see the silica? The silica is not anywhere else. But what the silica is or does is it's actually a whitening abrasive. It's like how sandpaper kind of scrubs the surface of the teeth to remove stains. The silica does that. So it's kind of like a whitening agent, sort of like a mechanical, physical whitening agent to physically remove stains. All right. But aside from that, it doesn't. The toothpaste isn't really any different from all of these. I mean, in my opinion, I feel like all of these toothpastes are the same, and you can kind of go with whichever one you want, and you'll most likely get the same exact effect and benefit. Although they kind of label it differently, like the rapid relief and the complete protection, but they kind of all do the same exact thing. All right, and that's it for the review of the Sensodyne Sensitivity Gum and Enamel toothpaste.